to meet you. Thank you very much. Please.
Poštovani gledaoci, dobroveče. Večeras razgovaramo sa novoimenovanom ambasadorkom Sjedinjenih Američkih Država u Crnoj Gori, njenom ekscelencijom Sue K. Brown. Ambassador Brown, first of all, it's my honor to have the first interview with you here in Montenegro. And let me welcome you here. At the beginning, can you tell us what are the first impressions about Montenegro, and does the Montenegro look like you imagined before?
Thank you, Alexander, and I'm very happy to have this interview with you. Montenegro has exceeded my expectations in the beauty of the country that I've seen so far, and the people, more importantly. The people are very friendly and welcoming, and I'm very happy to be here.
What have you first said to your family and friends after you came here in Montenegro?
Oh, what I said to my family and friends is that the country is more beautiful than I had seen in pictures, and the people are very, very friendly. But I expected the people to be as friendly as I've seen since getting here, because the ones that I met in Washington as well as Baltimore were as friendly. So I'm not surprised by that, but I'm very pleased that the warmth and warm reception that I received in Washington has also carried over to Montenegro. And I look forward to meeting the people and learning from them and making the U.S.-Montenegrin partnership even stronger.
You have a great career which lasts over 30 years, so how can it help you during your mission here in Montenegro?
I believe that my experiences in various parts of the world, Africa, Asia, and Europe, have afforded me opportunities to work firsthand with some of the issues that are now facing Montenegro, specifically with regards to the rule of law. In many of the countries that I've been working in, this has been a priority and an issue of concern for them as well. So I believe I bring a great deal of knowledge and experience in working with not only the government of Montenegro, but the people in moving forward on their path to EU and NATO membership.
You are the second ambassador since our independence, so will your policy be similar like your previous ambassador of the United States here, Roderick Moore, was carried out with?
Our goals and our priorities for the United States of America remain the same. We value the partnership that we have with Montenegro, and I just want to move forward in strengthening the partnership that we have. So the priorities that we had in place of strengthening the rule of law, moving forward with economic growth and prosperity are ones that I will maintain and move forward on.
You have mentioned it during your swearing ceremony that NATO integrations of Montenegro are high on the list of priorities of U.S. So how do you see our progress so far in that integrations?
First, I'd like to once again commend the government of Montenegro for their support and their participation in NATO in Afghanistan. I think for Montenegro to make that decision that they want to be part of sort of a global security network is very important, and it shows that they have a commitment to that. So not only does the United States appreciate Montenegro's participation in Afghanistan, but all of our NATO allies. As you know, NATO membership is comprised of 28 countries. We're only one of those countries, and there is a plan that I believe Montenegro will submit in June, which will be sort of maybe the first indication of where Montenegro stands on their progress towards NATO. But we believe that with the progress that's been made, and if Montenegro maintains its commitment, it will indeed become a member of NATO.
What are the benefits for such a small country as Montenegro to become a NATO membership?
NATO is comprised of all size countries. While Montenegro is small, again, with their dedication and their engagement and participation in Afghanistan, it shows that they are committed and they're able, and building on that, will mean not only benefits to the people of the country, but to Montenegro and to the region. And when we're looking beyond Montenegro and having regional stability, which Montenegro is interested in and focused on, but having that stability and then having a whole and full Europe, we believe that Montenegro is active in that, moving forward in that regard.
And what are the benefits for NATO?
To have another partner, to have another member, and we welcome committed members, and we believe Montenegro to be a country that is committed in becoming a country that is providing stability not only within the country, but to the region and to the world. And NATO can always use members with that commitment.
And what is the best way to convince our citizens to be for NATO integrations?
I think the government has already started sort of expanding their campaign of information. I think any progress first comes with education, and education comes through information sharing. And the government, I believe, is expanding that, where the people recognize the importance of being a member of NATO and the benefits of the EU as well. But NATO, again, it provides a stability within the country, for the region, and then externally beyond the region. And as I said, the government is working on this, and we believe that they will remain committed to staying on track.
How can you help us?
Well, you know, working, as I've said many times before, and as former Ambassador Morris said, strengthening the rule of law is a top priority, or high priority for the United States, and it's also a priority for the government of Montenegro. We're engaged in a number of areas and working with not only government but civil society to strengthen the capacity in lots of these areas. We will continue that. And we believe that working together, not only the United States, but the international community that has a genuine interest in Montenegro and the people of Montenegro, that working together we can ensure that Montenegro stays on track, and at the appropriate time they are members of EU and NATO.
Can we say that European and Euro-Atlantic integrations are compatible processes, and how do you see our progress on European integration so far?
Well, you know, they are two different processes with two different sort of sets of requirements, although there are some areas that overlap, specifically with regards to the rule of law. And I would say that EU membership would be something that the EU would really need to comment on and provide sort of the progress on that. But there are areas that are overlapping, and we believe that Montenegro is committed, as both the President as well as the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister have indicated. They're committed into fulfilling all the requirements for accession and membership into the EU and NATO, and we believe that they will do that.
Do you think that unity and solidarity of both small and big countries are important for fighting against organized crime and terrorism, and how do you see the role of Montenegro in this region?
They are indeed. Terrorism, again, we go back to Montenegro's decision to participate and be engaged in Afghanistan as an indication of their desire to be a provider of stability, not only in Montenegro, but in the region and outside of the region. That's very important. Organized crime is a problem not only here in Montenegro, it's a problem in the region. It's a problem throughout the world, including the United States. And a country has to take a firm commitment and stay with that commitment to ensure that they are moving forward in resolving and eliminating those issues. And I just saw something in the paper today with regards to some positive steps that the government or the prosecutor has taken here in Montenegro, and we commend them on that. So it's very important that a country remains committed to fighting organized crime and terrorism with regards to, because that plays in sort of to the rule of law. And if you look at Croatia, which is on the verge of becoming an EU member, the government as well as the people made a solid commitment that the rule of law would be a top priority for them, and they have maintained that commitment. So working on these is not something that you can do for a short period of time and stop and go back to old ways and think that everything is going to be all right. It's an ongoing process that you have to stay with. But we believe, and I believe, that the government is committed and getting the support of the people, because it takes the people to make these things work. We believe that getting that commitment and staying with it will be something that will be useful not only for Montenegro, but for the region as well.
What will be the first project that you will focus on during your mandate?
Well, in addition to the priorities that I already mentioned with regards to staying and maintaining the rule of law and looking at economic growth and prosperity, I want to be engaged more with the youth. I believe that the youth of any country are the future of that country. I met with some youth in Washington, D.C. before I came, and they love their country, as they should, and they're interested in wanting to return after their schooling, to be active participants in civil society and in the progress and the way forward with the country. So moving around the country, talking with youth, seeing what they see their role being in the country and how they can be engaged will be a high priority for me. Also working with women. I think women can play a vital role in all parts of society. Getting women more engaged in activities, those will be some high priorities for me, as well as looking at economic investment opportunities for U.S. companies. You know, I read something in one of the papers, I think over the weekend or today, that Montenegro, the tourists are sort of finding Montenegro as a destination of choice. And I think that's commendable. But looking at opportunities that will allow American businesses to come not only to Montenegro, but to the region, and making it a hub for investment opportunities for U.S. investors.
Where do you see that possibilities for economic cooperation between U.S. and Montenegro? In what fields?
Well, I think that there are many fields that we can be engaged in, but if you look at infrastructure in particular, we have many outstanding U.S. firms. If you look at the tourist industry, and if you look at just services or health or education, there are many areas that I think that we can offer our expertise and advice as well as investment. So I want to explore as many of those as possible and see what we can do in moving forward on that.
Ambassador Brown, thank you for this conversation and we wish you a pleasant stay here in Montenegro.
Thank you so very much.
Poštovani gledalci, bio je razgovor sa novoimenovanom ambasadorkom Sjedinjenih Američkih Država u Crnoj Gori, Sue K. Brown. Hvala na pažnji i prijatno večer.